BBQ Central.
Start the game! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Welcome to the really big Barbecue Central Show, a show that talks about all things important to the world of barbecue and grilling, originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard. You want to jump in on the show tonight? It's your prerogative. You want to bring something to me, either through the phone or the email? Here's how you do it.
You can get in touch with the show by calling 216-220-0966. Email Greg at the bbqcentralshow.com. On the Twitter and Instagrams at BBQ Central Show.
Everything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening. It is the third Tuesday of the month, if you can believe it. Quarter number 1 of 2020 is almost on its way out. That means 2020 is rapidly coming to a close. And when you thought I was kidding at the beginning of last month, you can quickly see that we will be entering in to March very shortly. That will close out Q1. We will be into Q2, and it's only a matter of time before we are doing a best of 2020 after that. Coming up in about 14 minutes from now, maybe a little less, he is the regular third Tuesday of the month guest, a Barbecue Hall of Famer. No one has written more live fire books based on the industry than he has. He has a degree in French literature. He is a star of TV, not only here in the States, but in Canada and in Italy as well, just to name a few others. But more than that, person I love to get thoughts and takes from when it comes to this industry. I am talking about Stephen Raichlen, of course, from the Barbecue Bible. BarbecueBible.com is his website. You can follow him on social media as well. He's into that. Then after Stephen, 35 past, we will be joined by the other third Tuesday of the month regular guest, the creator of the grillgirl.com website, social media maven, and live fire cooking enthusiast Robyn Lindars will be joining me. A couple different things to talk about Robyn with. Of course, last month, if you were a fan of the show and you listened, either live or through podcast, she was making her way down to Orange Beach, Alabama. Is that what it is? Somewhere in, where is it? Is it Alabama? Is the shed in Alabama? She was making her way out to the shed. There was going to be a Steak Cook-Off Association event. There was also going to be ancillary cocktail events. I believe her dad, maybe Robyn. There was also talk of Papa Shed, Craig Orson, and there was also talk of Johnny Joseph being on the team. There was pretty high-level, elite steak cooking prowess that was going to be forming a team down there at the shed. Robyn documenting. We'll check to see if she actually took part in any of the steak cooking portion. She did document something that was an American tragedy, and she documented it full tilt. We'll talk to her about that as well, but I will leave that as a tease. Most of you know what I'm talking about. And then actually Robyn has a special announcement here on this show. So we'll be talking about her special announcement before we close it out with her. That will also close the first hour. We'll move to the second hour. First-time guest and the director of quality research and development from a company called Dansons. Now, if you're not familiar with Dansons, Maybe you've heard of such cookers as Pit Boss or Louisiana Grills, or one that I hadn't heard of, but they're out there, Country Smokers. And that's just the cooking line. There's also what appears to be an outdoor line of some sort. That's right. Dansons makes all of that. Big company. And the research and development and quality manager will be joining me. He's a first-timer to the show. His name is Andrew Koster, and he will be joining me from Phoenix, Arizona, or at least Arizona. Maybe not Phoenix, but Arizona for sure. So looking forward to getting to know Andrew a little bit. And then 35 past the second hour, it's tough to say. We might have a special guest. There is invitation out. I don't have confirmation on that guest, so I don't want to go ahead and spoil it or think that I'm trying to tease you with something and then all the while know that I really don't have a closeout or a bullpen guest. But the invite is out. There have been reissues of, hey, it's still open, so we'll see if that comes together. If not, more than happy to have you call in, or depending on how Andrew is going, we might hold him over into a second and final segment here into the second hour. So that's what's happening tonight. Your phone calls and emails if you want to get into 16220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Don't forget you can follow me socially on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, at BBQ Central Show on all of those, / BBQ Central Show on Facebook. Now, as Pineapple Mania continues to sweep the country now in its 5th week, I believe, and I meant to show these last week while I was messing around with Meathead, replaying the audio. You know, I fooled him last week saying, hey, you're a historian of the show. I host the show. Let me play for you what I think is the most incredible statement ever made on the show. And then, of course, I replayed his audio on the pineapple is the best thing you can ever eat. Of course. I tricked him. He fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. But then I also started generating examples of people bringing up pineapple for although these many weeks since he had mentioned it, again, now 5 weeks ago. And I meant to bring up this. So this was sent in by a very loyal Centralite, Jason Wallace. Now let me go ahead and read you an email. And it says, Greg, you asked for it, so I responded. And he sent pictures, by the way. Subject A, and this is Subject A. This madness is a whole pineapple, segmented and stacked with layers of pork tenderloin, sausage patties, and discs of pineapple smoked in 2 halves, then skewered together to make this ridiculous picture. By the way, Jason, that's a great picture. Very edible. Very lovely, great background, great foreground, wonderful composure. I love everything about it. That's Subject A, if you're a pineapple fan. Would you eat it? Again, layers of pork tenderloin, one of my favorite things. Sausage patties, discs of smoked pineapple in halves skewered together. Looks really good. Now, here's Subject B. This is one of the favorite dishes to cook and is a hit with anyone that's ever had it. Whole pineapple halved, then carved out, stuffing it with chicken, chorizo, and chunks of pineapple cooked with onion. You lost me an onion. Red bell pepper, jalapeno, and spices, then put back into the pineapple bowl on top of the yellow rice, seasoned with black beans. Then cover it with queso cheese, baked briefly to melt the cheese. Oh, my Lord. Jason, you're outdoing yourself in those 2 pineapple treats. Now, there's no exact recipe other than just saying what he used, but I have to admit, as I look at Subject A and Subject B, and again, if you're listening on podcast, you're missing out. That's Subject A. The pineapple and pork tenderloin and sausage patty tower. This is Subject B. I mean, that one looks really good. Like, you could just pick that up and walk around with it like a walking taco, but it's a walking pineapple. It looks absolutely... And I'm a huge fan of chorizo and chicken. I love choripollo in my favorite Mexican restaurant. It's one of my favorite dishes as well. So this thing is a winner for me. If I'm choosing subject A, subject B, I choose subject B. Like the popular meme going around says, follow for more recipes. Always enjoy the show, Greg. At JW Cooks on social media, or as we know him here in the States, Jason Wallace, everybody, contributing. Thank you, Jason. And I apologize. I meant to show those to Meathead last week so he could also drool at your pineapple work. But Jason, a loyal fan and taking the actual subject matter and putting rubber to the road. He's like, hey, we're not just going to talk about pineapple. We're going to cook some pineapple. We're going to photograph it. We're going to send it to the show. And maybe, just maybe, I'll get on. And guess what? He's on. Some of you others thought about it and then you didn't do it.
How dare you?
Exactly. Why wouldn't you do it? Stephen Raichlen is coming up out of the break. I want to talk to all of the folks that are in the business of barbecue, whether you own a restaurant, a food truck, whether you do those silly pop-ups, whatever it is. Have you had or have you made the call to Southside Market and Barbecue? What do you know about them? A few things right off the bat. Established in 1882, Southside Market and Barbecue, the oldest barbecue joint in Texas. Owned and operated by the same family for 3 generations. Offering premium Central Texas barbecue products, slow smoked over real wood. Shipping, distributing, manufacturing sausages for companies across the U.S. From food trucks to multi-chain restaurants to pop-ups, you name it. Southside sausage can be on your menu too, and it can be done quickly. All meats processed in the on-site USDA-inspected facility. A trusted partner with focus on quality and authenticity. Wholesale options are available as well. Shipping nationwide via the FedEx. Food service distribution via Cisco, U.S. Foods, and Martin Foods. Co-packaging capable from research and development to package completion. They can follow your recipes or help you develop something brand new. Private label opportunities available as well. Visit SouthsideMarket.com for more information, won't you? 10% off when you order online when you use code BBQ Central. That's BBQ Central, all one word, lowercase, and the website is SouthsideMarket.com. All right, we are back with Stephen Raichlen, Barbecue Hall of Famer. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
This portion of the show being brought to you by Butcher's Barbecue, makers of award-winning injections, marinades, rub seasonings, barbecue sauces, and grilling oils. All of Butcher Barbecue products have been tested on the competition circuit, as well as backyards worldwide. Be the pitmaster of your neighborhood and visit butcherbbq.com to stock up now. Always trust your butcher. Got an order in for more grilling oils myself as we start to ramp up even more outdoor cooking. I'm telling you, the winter has been the best, if it's even been winter. I don't know. Third Tuesday of the month, folks, and you know what that means. A host of TV shows, creator and instructor of the very popular Barbecue University classes, author of the most popular barbecue and grilling books in the history of barbecue and grilling books. We race to the hotline and welcome our friend Stephen Raichlen to the show. Hey, Stephen.
Hey, Greg. How are you?
Good. Do you have camera availability tonight or just voice?
I'm looking at you right now. I'm on my iPhone, so I'm seeing you. I hope you can see me.
Well, we can't, but your sound absolutely fabulous. Usually, for some reason, Skype decides to make it a default with not showing the camera, so you have to go
let's
in.
See, let's try something here. Nope. I see you, and I see myself, so not sure why it's not working.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens here during the course of the next 12 to 15 minutes or so. So quick update on the June 2020 Barbecue University, Stephen. Enrollment currently closed, as I saw. because guess what? It's a sellout, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, always popular. Stephen, does this event always sell out?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And we're in a new location. Space is limited, but we are taking names for waiting lists. We hope to run a second session in the fall. So if you didn't make it to this one, give your name, sign up either at barbecuebible.com or through the Montage Palmetto Bluffs Resort. And hopefully we'll be able to make space for you in the fall.
All right, Stephen, let me ask you a question. When it comes to these kind of things, when you, I would assume there's some type of an agreement or contract with the property. Is it part of that understanding that you will be the one providing grills, obviously curriculum, but perhaps most importantly, the marketing to book the classes out, or does the resort also take some type of responsibility in that?
Well, I bring the grills. I bring the program. The marketing, it's a joint effort. Obviously, I have a robust site, and we have a big alumni base. So actually, the program sold out within about 3 weeks of our announcing it this year.
Oh, wow.
But it's a partnership, and I'm really excited about this year because we're in a new part of the country. We've been in Colorado Springs for 12 years, and now we're going to be in the South Carolina Low Country. So there will be oyster roast. There will be a whole flora and fauna of new foods that don't customarily grill with. So it's going to be a learning experience for me, new adventure. I'm a water guy. We're right on the May River. In fact, I know in the time off after class, I'm going to be boating and fishing. Hope everybody else will be.
When you talk about the alumni, that's the word I was looking for. So, for instance, I know one of my unofficial embedded correspondents out there in the Colorado/Denver area is Dennis Busso. I think he is booked for this June's trip. That's going to be a new location yet for him again. I think this makes his 4th trip in a row. Is he one of the more cagey veterans, or are there ones that have way more years of alumnus than him?
We've got one threesome that is, I believe they're going on about their 15th year.
15 years?
We used to give them, it's a funny story, but we used to give them, first they got their graduate, and then we gave them an MA, and then a PhD, and then a postdoc. And at first, it was a guy and a gal, and we thought they were a romance. And then a couple of years in, the guy came with another woman who became his wife.
Oh.
And they're all great friends, and they're just, something we look forward to all year, getting together again.
And these are...
barbecue, it's like a big family, Barbecue University.
Yeah, and these are folks that love live fire first, and that's why they're going. And there's also a nice resort, or they really like the resort, and also there happens to be hanging out time with Stephen Raichlen and upping their barbecue and grilling game.
Well, they're certainly big barbecue enthusiasts, but I think they don't mind the 300-count bed linens, the super luxurious 5-star mobile 5-diamond surroundings of the resort either.
Stephen Raichlen joining me here on the show. BarbecueBible.com is website. And as you had mentioned, if you want to get on a wait list, you just go to the website and start searching for it there, or is there somebody they should be emailing directly?
Either come to barbecuebible.com or call Montage directly.
All right, so...
Actually, you just go to the Barbecue University page on barbecuebible.com, and you can get the info.
All right, easy enough. So last month...
By the way,
Yep.
If any of your listeners come to the school, please introduce yourself and tell me that I found you through Greg Rempe. That'd be very cool.
And you'll take pictures so we can document proof that some people are showing up and actually either mentioning my name or the show name or both?
Well, we're still hoping to get you, absolutely. And we're still hoping to get you out one of these days, too.
Yeah,
we'll eat some caviar together.
All right, I'm ready to go whenever you are. That'd be great. Now, I owed you the names of a few places here in Cleveland. I think I said it was only 2 last month, because one of the things that you were predicting 2020 was not only the continuance of the live fire cooking place and restaurants, but an actual growth in a lot of these restaurants. So we talked about Pickwick and Frolic last month. That was one that I'd mentioned. But there's actually 2 other ones, so a total of 3 here in the greater Cleveland area. The first one is called Aliyah, and that's in the very restaurant trendy part of Ohio City in Cleveland. And then the other place is called Sawyer's, which is in Shaker Heights. And yes,
Oh, sure, Jonathan Sawyer, right?
that's the local celeb chef, Jonathan Sawyer, who runs that place. Both are using that open style fire of cooking. So if you're keeping an active list or places that you wanted to run to check that out when you get into Cleveland, we'll want to add both of those. And
You bet.
that's I really think, or at least I tend to agree with you that is going to be whether you're seeing a grill works type of a thing, or maybe something folks are fashioning themselves, or having a local fabricator make that. Those are things you're going to be seeing coming into the restaurant space.
Absolutely. More and more, live fire. It's funny. We started as a species, we started cooking over a wood fire. And now the more sophisticated we get, the more complicated and digital our world gets, the more and more we're kind of turning back to live fire.
Stephen, when we talk about live fire, there's obviously smoke, and a portion of smoking is something that we call cold smoking. Now, I'm pretty adept at traditional barbecue temperatures, or, lower into the 180s or so, or a warm smoke versus a hot smoke. We can start getting into the minutia there, but cold smoke is something a little bit different. And I don't think we've spent or given a lot of time here on this show when you've been on before. So if you don't mind, if we could carve out a little bit of time here to talk about cold smoking and when you would want to use it, best practices and or best dishes that cold smoking would work well. And I know there's cheese, but there's got to be a bunch of other stuff.
Well, first of all, if you love Nova Scotia style salmon the way I do, or Irish style salmon, it is cold smoked. If you love smoked cheese, it is cold smoked. If you love beef jerky, it is cold smoked. So cold smoking, very valuable, very important technique to know. And in a nutshell, with cold smoking, what you're doing is you're smoking the food, but not cooking it. So that is extremely useful in the case of something like cheese, where if you cook it, it melts. It is extremely delicious with something like salmon, where if you're cold smoking it, you're laying on a layer of smoke. It's usually coupled with curing in a brine or in a salt and sugar rub. But the fish, in effect, remains raw. So you get that soft, velvety, sushi-like consistency, but with the sweet, salty brine flavor and the smoke that we associate with barbecue. It's a really wondrous combination. And you'll find cold smoking discussed in my book, Project Smoke. And also Nancy Losky, my fearless assistant, who is your neighbor, lives out there in Cleveland, is writing a blog on cold smoking that will run on this Friday's blog page on barbecuebible.com.
Oh, so we could maybe have her in for outside of your Thursday visit. We could have her in on a cold smoking expert visit.
You know what? I'd love for you to have Nancy on.
Yeah.
And not only that, but Nancy has just written her first book. It's a book on pellet smokers, healthy pellet smoking on pellet smokers. It's going to be out this spring. You should definitely get her on for that.
All right. So last month we agreed. Well, we didn't agree, but you said you were not taking a poo-poo on pellet cookers. But we agreed that pellet cookers, perhaps. Did we agree that pellet cookers were really going to see quite a surge in popularity in 2020?
We said they were going to be the
Yes.
fastest growing segment of the grill market.
All right.
Absolutely.
Now, in Nancy's book, and she can come on and talk about it, and you talk about a healthy pellet grill. What does that mean?
Well, I think Nancy's, I think the whole principle, the whole beauty of a pellet smoker or any smoker is you're putting in a ton of flavor, that is wood smoke, without having to add fat. And think about, how do you get flavor? Well, one way is you use a lot of fat in your meat, or you deep fat fry, or you cook with a lot of butter. But when you smoke, and especially in a pellet grill, you don't need to add a lot of fat. So that is healthy. I think Nancy's going to be emphasizing vegetables. Well, that was another one of my predictions for this year. Vegetables a big deal. So that's another piece of it.
Stephen Raichlen joining us here on the show, barbecuebible.com, his website. One of the other items that I wanted to talk to you about this evening is this thing, what I consider to be one of my favorite things on earth, and that is something that we don't really talk a lot about, or at least I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. That's Canadian bacon, especially delicious on eggs of all kinds, at least in my opinion. Some will contend that perhaps it's not bacon at all, it's a ham. So before I ask you how we make it at home, let's get the true definition of Canadian bacon, because, Stephen, you are a beloved Canadian, more French Canadian than maybe regular Canadian, if that's even a thing, but Canadian nonetheless. Let's talk about Canadian bacon and what it is.
So Canadian bacon is a brine-cured pork loin, okay? Not belly, pork belly like our bacon, but it's a pork loin. And these days, it's always smoked. But in times gone by, Canadian bacon, they called it pea bacon. It would be brine-cured, cooked, and then crusted with ground pea meal. And that is true, the original Canadian bacon. These days, it is brined, it is cured, and then it is smoked. It's cooked fully. It's think of it as a sort of like a low-fat bacon, because it's loin, it's pure meat. Super easy to make at home, super delicious, and you were right. So much you can do with it. Thinly sliced, goes into your scrambled eggs. You can smoke it, then grill it. You can pan fry it. Arrange it on pizza with slices of grilled pineapple, or just simply eat it out of hand.
There does seem to be quite a fight going on these days across the internet, Stephen, if pineapple has a place on pizza. You're obviously a yes on pizza guy?
Well, let's say that when I was a young man, possibly under the influence of what back then was controlled substances, I would eat a pineapple and Canadian bacon pizza from time to time.
Sure.
It is not something I'm likely to do now that I'm older and wiser. However, my tent is big enough to accommodate pizzas of all different toppings.
But there's a 10th circle of hell for people that boil hot dogs.
How dare you?
Really?
Yeah, I got to agree that. I got to agree with that.
I don't know. I forget if we had briefly touched on it last month, but Meathead said that, pineapple was like the best thing to come off the grill. And then somehow we got into the pizza talk, and there were a lot of people were totally 100% against pineapple going on pizza. I know we like to flex our opinions, and we're all friends after the fact. At least we are here on this show. But I don't see anything wrong with dropping pineapple on pizza. It's delicious. It's definitely not the best thing that's ever come off the grill. I will definitely argue that until I lose my life. But I think pineapple on pizza, depending on what else you have on it, is a delicious thing, and nobody should be looking to make anybody feel bad about that.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, think about it. Pineapple, sweet and acidic. Canadian bacon, salty and sweet. Yin and yang. I'm okay with it.
What type of a time commitment are we at with Canadian bacon? Is this like a week brine or a week brine
No,
and
you
cure?
can actually, because it's a smaller, it's smaller than a pork belly. You can get away with a 3 or 4 day brine, particularly if you inject while you're brining. The second day, inject some of the brine into the center, and then it's a much shorter smoke, of course, too. And it's not a cold, it's a hot smoke. So you're cooking the meat as well as smoking it.
And you're taking it up to like a traditional 140 or 165?
No,
or
you
where
want to go a
going?
little. I think you want to go a little higher. I mean, for me, I would take it up to 160. But what's interesting is the Canadian bacon that you buy in the supermarket, particularly the inexpensive Canadian bacon, it's been shot full of water. Sometimes it's even, you look at it, it doesn't even look like it has a meat. It looks like it's somehow been compressed, aggregated with chopped up meat. And it is nothing like a glorious, if you start with a big, beautiful, glorious pork loin and cure it and smoke it, it is nothing like that.
Stephen, last thing I wanted to talk to you about this evening, always appreciate the time. You have a new book that you are piecing together at this point. You can tell us where you're at stage-wise, but it is a vegetable grilling book. So as we talked about vegetables on pellet cookers with Nancy's latest release or to-be release, you're doing a whole book on grilling vegetables with ties in with the whole 2020 vegetable deal.
Yeah, it's actually called Grilling Green, and vegetable is a large part of it, but also grilled cheese, grilled eggs, grilled bread, uh, grilled fruit, desserts. I call it a mostly meatless grill book. And by that, I would say that about 10% of the recipes do contain meat. Most don't. Many are vegan friendly, many are vegetarian friendly, many are vegetable side dishes that would enhance and ennoble any fantastic grilled steak or ribs. But also, these dishes can also double as a main course themselves. So, let's face it, barbecue world 2020 is not the same that it was in 1990 or 2000 or 2010. And we all are more conscious of our own health, the health of the planet. And I venture to say I do a lot of public speaking, and even in places like Texas and Kansas City, people come up to me and after and say, yeah, thanks. That's something I want to see. I want to incorporate more vegetables into my diet.
When we've talked about you putting together other books like the Brisket book or Project Fire, Project Smoke, there was the man's dating food book guide that was out there a couple of years ago.
That was called, Man-Made Food.
Man-Made Food, that's right. It often entails you taking trips and traveling the barbecue trail, as you've said. What about this one? Do you get to stay more local? Is it just a lot of trial and error at home or wherever you're at the year? How does it come together?
Oh, no, a lot of travel. In fact, I've spent the last 2 years crisscrossing the United States and Europe and Asia, and in search of recipes for the book. But what was interesting is that hardened barbecuing and grill guy, I'd say many of the restaurants I visited this year were actually vegetarian or vegan.
Huh.
So that was kind of a different. I'd come in with a fake beard and a hat pulled down over my head. Dark glasses to be incognito.
Do we have a projected release of the Grilling Green?
Yeah, it'll be May 2021.
So we're a little over a year away from release on that one.
Yeah, and I'm at the process now. The book is mostly written, so and there's sort of three things that happen to it. So Nancy Lowski in Cleveland, is in the process of going through it page by page, recipe by recipe, doing a careful proofread, making it consistent. Then we've got teams of recipe testers testing the recipes, because I always like to have people other than myself test the recipes. In fact, if any of your listeners are interested in becoming recipe testers, you get your name in the book. Contact me through Barbecue Central. And then there will be a photo session that'll happen a little bit later on in the year. So it's a big, I've done it 31 times, and I'd like to say it gets easier, but it's a big job.
Oh, no doubt about it. And I'm sure there's a lot of well-learned and tried processes that happen regardless of whatever the subject matter is, just to make it go easily. So we'll be on the lookout for that one and continue to promote it as it gets a little bit closer. That's May 2021, so we got a little bit on that. And we are talking with Stephen Raichlen. He's the third Tuesday of the month regular guest. He is a barbecue Hall of Famer, and you will find him here next month as we start closing out quarter number one. Stephen, always appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Hey, thank you, man. Take care. Bye-bye.
You got it. There he is, Stephen Raichlen, right there on the Barbecue Central Show hotline, talking about Grilling Green. He said it. That's right. It's a thing this year, Grilling Green. I think when we talked about it last time, he also had talked. Oh, right. He'd also mentioned the term vegetable charcuterie. And I'm not going to make any bold statements here on this show, but I believe vegetable charcuterie was founded right here in Cleveland, Ohio. That's right. We have Robyn Lindars coming up out of the break. Before we get to her, I will talk to you quickly about Big Papa Smokers, the one-stop online shop for all things barbecue. They have great rubs and spices. The Big Papa Spices and Rubs. 13 perfectly balanced flavors, transforming ordinary meals into extraordinary. Whether you're cooking to impress the judges or grilling for your family and friends, Big Papa Smokers' award-winning rubs and seasonings don't disappoint. They also have a great relationship with Steph Franklin and the folks over at Simply Marvelous Barbecue. Put Big Papa and Simply Marv together. You have the West Coast offense, and it wins a lot. They also own a barbecue sauce. So if you're tired of what's always out there and you haven't tried Granny's barbecue sauce, you might want to give that one a try. It might be something you find you love right away. Also, aside from the great rubs, the great sauce, they're selling other things. Accessories, yes. Other people's rubs aside from those two, yes. How about if you're looking for a cooker, you check out that Mac 2-Star General Pellet Grill. Big Papa's the exclusive Mac dealer, offering special packages that nobody across the internet can offer. Mention the Barbecue Central show. If you're not a fan of pellet smokers, fine. You ever thought about the Old Hickory Ace BP? Did you know it's the only charcoal smoker that Big Papa trusts on his competition trailer? That's right. If you're not sure of what grill you need, don't fret. Call them. Ask your questions. They'll help you out. 877-828-0727 or shop the website at bigpapasmokers.com. That's BIGPOPPA smokers.com. We return with Robyn Lindars, the Grill Girl. Stick around. Be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rampey.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by cookinpellets.com, your number one source for quality wood pellets for all your pellet-driven cookers. You visit cookinpellets.com for more information or to purchase. You can also visit amazon.com to purchase as well. By the way, if you love podcasts, Chris Becker and the gang over at Cookin' Pellets have offered up a brand new podcast. Now, be wary. If you're going to search for it, run it all together. Cookin' Pellets, COOKIN Pellets, all one word. Otherwise, you're just going to sit there and meander and all the search things. So run Cookin' Pellets together as one word and then podcast with a space in the middle of it. And then you can check out Chris Becker's new podcast offering. And it's him and 2 or 3 other guys, I think, work with the company. So if you're into that kind of a thing, check it out. There's there's some technical issues that I'm going to have to talk to Chris about offline, like volume level and some other hosting things that I think I'm a pretty freaking great host right now, and I'm able to let my knowledge base spread around. I'm not going to hold that. Now that I'm near the end of life, I'm here to spread the knowledge out. I'm not here to hoard it like I was in the middle of my life. Anyway, the other third Tuesday of the month regular guest is the creator of GrillGirl.com, Robyn Lindars. Hey.
Hey, Greg.
How are you?
I am good. How are you? Happy February.
Yeah, happy February, and we are almost through it. That is totally not the right picture, but
look at me. Look at my beard. It's getting so long.
I know. There you are. Hi. Okay. Wow. Thought you were Stephen Raichlen for a second. I always get you two confused. So we just had Valentine's Day. Is that a big thing in your house or no?
I mean, I don't make a huge deal out of it. And I think everyone is like, oh, we need to go out to dinner or do something. I mean, I think Valentine's Day is when you don't go out.
Yeah.
That's when you have the opportunity to hang out and cook something nice. Because no one wants to deal with those prefix menus. But
well,
we always grill something nice. I think grilling is like the standard. So
we were out of town Friday, so that was Valentine's Day down in Columbus, Ohio. And I'm telling you, for as much as on this show we talk about don't go out, the majority of people are not taking our advice, and they are cramming into every last restaurant, as you said, prefix this or limited menu that or whatever. And it's just unbelievable. We had to wait 2 hours just to eat in the freaking hotel. I mean, it was outrageous, and I just wanted to not eat and go to bed, but, wife and kids complaining about being hungry, so we had to gut it out. But nevertheless, we have some pretty cool things to talk about. Last month, you were teasing that you were going down to the shed, and there was going to be some type of SCA event. So how did it end up happening? Who were on teams? What were final places? How did it shake out?
Yeah. So, I don't do a ton of competitions, but we did the first steak, the Shed Steak Showdown last year, and it was just so much fun. And this year, it's now grown into being like the second largest steak competition
In the country?
for the SDA. Yeah, in the
Really?
country because
Wow.
like this year they had like 200 teams, and I think a lot of it is that yeah, and some of the really big players, but I think a lot of it is that they just at the Shed. I mean, they just throw a great party and they make it such a good time. It's like part of it's in the experience, because I've done a couple local events and they're very different than this because you got all the heavyweights coming out and in the Shed, if they're going to do something, they're going to do it well, right? And so they really sweeten the pot with all these really kick-ass prizes, Yeti and Camp Chef and Green Mountain Grills. There are a lot of like really great prizes in addition to cash. And then, of course, the Friday night before the actual competition, they do a big crawfish boil with beer sponsors and king cake. And then they bring in like, a band, and then they have like a what's not a jazz band, but the style they do in New Orleans.
Like bluesy kind of thing?
I forgot what it's called, but then they bring them through like on the day of the competition. So it's really kind of just like such a fun experience. It's like hard not to go. So through doing Memphis in May for the past like 8 years, we've gotten my dad and myself, we've gotten very close with the Shed family, like Mama and Papa Shed. So when we go, we stay with Mama and Papa Shed. And so we were actually on.
You stay at their house?
Yes.
Wow, look at you.
Dad and Mom are like, they might have been related in a past life. Like they just stay up giggling and making silly jokes. And I just love their family so much. Like I love Mama and Papa Shed. So me and Dad and Papa Shed were on a team this year, and Papa Shed had never been, or Craig Orison and Papa Shed had never been on a team before, but we decided what the heck, why not? And he had actually taken Robert Irwin's little class that he did, because Robert Irwin is the guy that won the competition last year. And he took Johnny Joseph's class. So we were like, hey, let's see how this works. And we finished in like the top 50%. I mean, we didn't kill it, but we had fun, and it was just a good time. I'll just say that. What was kind of interesting is that I don't think Robert, no, he placed, I think, in the top 10, but it was actually Johnny Joseph that won this year.
Well, was it on the second day or the second whatever, there was a three-way tie? Wasn't Killer Hogs part of that, or didn't he win one of the days or something like that? Waylon Reed?
Yes, so Malcolm Reed's brother, who actually also won the steak competition at the World Food Champs, he was tied. And so what's also interesting about the Shed is that they do the competition a little bit differently, is that they do stake A and stake B. And so you have more chances to win, but then they take the winners of that to compete against each other in like a final cook-off. So what they've done is they've added this whole kind of like live cook-off element to the actual award ceremony, because they announce the winners and then immediately after they have to go and compete against each other in like a competition. And so then so I don't know if you guys saw my live stream, but I live streamed some of that on Instagram. And then they also had the guys who did turkey do a cook-off, and they called it like the cage battle or something like that, because Brad is like, he's just so damn funny, and they made him like battle it out in the cage.
Like steel cage, like WWF.
That's what it was. And he literally had a steel cage. So,
did the winner get a one of those big ass gold belts and everything?
Yeah, he did get a big ass belt.
Of course, yes. True wrestling, great.
And so it was just like a lot of fun. And then they had like some celebrity judges there, like who is that funny artist guy that he owns a couple restaurants in Kansas City, but he does Memphis in May. What's his name? Like Stretch was one, and yep. He's funny. He gets up there, he's wearing like a cape. I mean, it's just like
his hair is out of control too. I mean, by the way, I should never be talking about hair, but his hair is out of control.
it's just like the experience. It's just so fun. And they have just a great place to have an event because they're right on the bayou. So it really, you can have a lot of people right there with their campers and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm going to continue to do it just for the experience and just to see my barbecue family. But my main goal, honestly, was to just capture the event because it's just so fun. So like going back this year, I was like, I knew I wanted to really get like a ton of coverage of the Bloody Mary turn-ins, which as you saw, were just freaking off the chain.
Okay, Robyn, look, will you please join me in admonishing of these tools who took part in that Bloody Mary contest? I mean, competition barbecue is laughing at Bloody Mary contest. I mean, that's how crazy this is. Let's scoff at them together.
How dare you?
That's right. I mean, it was outrageous, Rob. You have to admit, as you are live streaming that nightmare of a competition, how many hundreds of pounds of food was wasted? How many countries that are small and barely holding it together socially, politically, and otherwise could have feasted on the waste of Bloody Mary food, probably for the next 7 or 10 years if they had some way to keep it right. It's ridiculous. It's not a friggin' contest. I hate it. If the Shed knew what was right, they would stop. They would lead the charge against these ridiculously garnished Bloody Mary contests and just make people turn in a freaking Bloody Mary drink. And I get they get, the thing that they actually taste. But fuck all that. All that crazy stuff is ridiculous. And you have to agree. Otherwise, that's it for you. So you better agree.
I do agree.
Thank you. You're safe. You're safe.
Well, what was funny is that I have gotten to know a lot of the people that were judging the Bloody Mary. And because I actually took the judging class Thursday night. That was my goal going to the event too, is just to get my judging credential because now I can judge
for steak
events. But also for someone who's competing, like you might as well really understand everything, the rules and everything, just so you have a better understanding when you turn something in, what the judges are looking for.
Yeah.
So I did talk to a lot of the people who actually judge the event. And the thing is that people are so focused on the garnish that they're not focusing on the drink itself. That's what a lot of people were telling me.
Yeah.
And so you have a turn-in for the Bloody Mary, and you have one that's like the decorated one with the garnish, and then you have the other one that's the one they actually taste, and then they pour it into a little shot glass, and everybody takes a little sip.
Right. Which
those judges were had to be kind of buzzed by the time they judged like 8 Bloody Marys. So that actually sounds like a pretty fun one to judge. But it's when it comes to actually tasting it, I just don't think people are putting a lot of time and effort into that. And that's really what it should come down to.
It's obvious that whether anybody's going to admit it or not, and I know I'm right because I can see the monstrosities that are being turned in on the table. I mean, if part of the rule is the thing can't tip over if you set it down, that means you are loading that stuff to the gills. Like you've probably spent time figuring out exactly, okay, this is my drink holder, this is the drink weight. Now, how much can I scientifically pack on this thing? And that's what's being rewarded. That's why every week these things seem to be getting more and more out of hand. Okay, different if you're a restaurant, maybe that's your gimmick thing on Sundays and people are coming in hungover, whatever. But contests like this is where it all spins out of control. Now, let me tie this back into the steak competition. What steak won? Did it look like a steak, or did it look like a round puck that had great grill marks on it?
It at the end of the day, it starts to look like a little football that's perfect. And a lot of times it doesn't look like,
I think we've totally gotten away from what it is. I mean, why can't the steak look like a steak? Why do we have to tie around it and cut all the shit off around it? And the last 4 steaks I've seen win NCA events are like circles. It's the eye of the ribeye. They've taken everything else away. It looks like a ham. It's weird. Why don't they look like steaks anymore, Robyn? Come on.
No, well, that's the thing is once you turn it into a competition, it kind of everything turns into this like
who can be more weird than the next, and then all of a sudden that wins. So now we conform to what that weird is.
And I also think, I took the judging class. They say it's not appearance is part of it, but it's not everything. But you have to think like if you get one steak that doesn't have char marks and one that has perfect char marks, from a visual perspective, would you give the one with char marks a higher score? So judging is never perfect either.
All right, we're off of it because I could just go on and on about it. You have a major.
It is a fun event. I mean, if anyone's thinking of getting into the steak cook-offs, I think it's a really cool organization, and it's really cool to see lots of kids getting into it and lots of females getting into it.
Are you going to NBBQA in Louisville?
I don't know. We'll see. I'm actually not a member of NBBQA. Probably
Who
should.
Is?
But it is our friends at Pit Barrel are, I think, a sponsor, and they're having their anniversary event there too. So I would like to go just because I'd love to see my Pit Barrel friends. And I will plug them right now and say that you can vote for them to get an Amex small business grant. They're up in the running. So so they're just good people. So I would make a trip to Louisville for them and I'm sure I didn't pronounce it right. Louisville. Just to see my friends from Pit Barrel.
All right, stand by for this.
A Barbecue Central Show exclusive news update.
That's right, Greg Rempe reporting from the breaking news desk in Cleveland, Ohio, as we race back out to Middle Florida. Are you Middle Florida now, Robyn? Is that what it is? Middle?
I'm still South Florida.
As we go to South Florida for Robyn with GrillGirl.com for a major announcement.
What?
What do you mean? I just set you up for the big announcement of your big thing.
Oh, I thought you wanted me to talk about whatever I just brought. Okay, I just had a brain fart. I'm sorry. Just such a blonde moment. So my big announcement is...
No offense to the blondes, by the way.
Well, I'm not a natural blonde, so anymore. At least I don't think I am. So I am launching something very cool on my site that I've been working on for a little bit. And it's big news to me. Not everyone will think it's big, but I'm coming out with... I'm calling it a barbecue calculator, meaning you plug your protein in and it'll tell you minimal internal temperature and optimal wood pairing. So how many times have you ever been like, shit, what is the minimal temperature that I need to hit for, pork?
135, 135.
Right. But do you remember venison or quail or, whatever? So I've launched that, or it's coming soon.
All
so
right.
that anytime you have a question, you can just plug it in.
Is this going to be a site-based calculator, or are you in development of an app or some sort?
It's a site-based calculator.
All right.
And I mean, truth be told, I was listening to a Neil Patel webinar on SEO, and I kind of got the idea for it. So I'm a dork, but I think it'll be really valuable because I know that, when you're cooking, it's all about getting, you want to know what that internal temperature is. And once you meet that, you can pull the meat off, and then you're going to eliminate the opportunity to overcook something or undercook it if you know that right temperature that you need to hit. And then, of course, I always recommend using an internal meat thermometer. But I'm excited. It's going to be cool. And I think it's going to be great for traffic too, of course. So stay tuned. It's going to launch this week.
All right, it's going to launch this. Do we have a solidified day and date, or are we still sketching that out?
Probably by Friday. I mean, it could go live today probably, but I want to tweak it a little bit.
All right. And so once again,
the Grill Girl barbecue calculator.
Grill Girl barbecue calculator. So I'll go there. I'll say I have a 12-pound prime rib, and then it's going to give me an idea of how long it's going to take to get to my medium rare temperature, for instance.
I'm going to give you the internal temperature that you need to hit and optimal wood pairing. I'm not going to tell you how long.
Okay.
Just because I feel like there's too many variables to go there. I still feel like I don't want to do the time yet for anything because that's time and temperature. Maybe that's my next iteration, the 2.0 version of the barbecue calculator.
All right. So make sure that you are following Robyn on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook so you can, or whatever platform you like to follow people on. And I would imagine once it's released, you'll tell everybody on those social media channels, and then everybody can race over and start messing around with the Grill Girl calculator.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I will say too, I'm really, other things you'll see I'm doing, I'm really focusing on females this year and trying to highlight more girls grilling, because it's it is grillgirl.com, right? And it's 2020. And I did start a Facebook group called Girls Who Grill, and there's a lot of really cool females there. They're not all competition cooks. It's all kinds of different ladies, but it's a very supportive environment, and it's really taking off. And you will see, and actually this came from going to the Shed Steak Showdown. I interviewed Kathy Pullen. I don't know if you know of her, but she's a competition cook, but she's such an inspiration and such a fighter, and she's a domestic violence survivor and an advocate, and so a lot of the stuff she does in barbecue, she spreads the message. And anyway, so I have an interview with her coming up soon and she shared her turkey lasagna recipe that she entered into, or wonton turkey lasagna recipe made in muffin cups, which is kind of cool, that she actually had as her turn-in for the turkey category at the Shed Steak Showdown. So I'm just the site we're the sum of all the parts and we all rise together, right? So I'm really wanting to highlight other females and also just really great cooks. There's a lot of cooks out there. I have a whole smoked alligator recipe coming from a new contributing writer.
Wow.
That I think it will be really damn cool. Yeah.
All right.
So
we'll be on the lookout for that. Visit grillgirl.com, won't you? And in the meantime, you can find Robyn right here on the third Tuesday of every month following Barbecue Hall of Famer Stephen Raichlen. Can you give me, Robyn, in like 20 seconds, could you give me somebody you would nominate for the Barbecue Hall of Fame this year? American Royal is just now allowed voting or nominations. So who are you nominating this year? Give me a name.
For the Barbecue Hall of Fame?
Yes.
I would say, and I don't know if he's been this is just off the cuff. I don't know if he's been nominated already or has ever made it, but I would say Malcolm Reed for what he has done as far as really making barbecue just really getting the word out there to so many people through his YouTube channel. Like, he really is an inspiration to a lot of people. And so outside of just competition and stuff like that, I think a lot of people have learned the basics from him because he's teaching people.
Yeah, all right. Malcolm Reed. I like him.
And he's also just a really nice guy.
Yes, absolutely. He's a great guy. Shows up here once a month, believe it or not. Again, grillgirl.com is Robyn's website. Be on the lookout for the new calculator and look for her next month. Robyn, always appreciate the time.
Love you, Greg.
All right. Take care. Can't say that to me. Grillgirl.com is the website. And we got to make up a little time here, but we should be all right. The new Grill Girl meat calculator. Be on the lookout. Follow her socially. As soon as it's released, you'll be notified. You can start messing around. We'll be back to wrap the first hour right after this. Stick around. Be right back.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
Well, now I want to know what Guy the Cooking Sam said. He's retracted his message in the instant chat. I got to know what he said. I missed it. This segment brought to you by Fireboard. Up to 6 different temperatures are monitored simultaneously. Connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring, or connect via Bluetooth if you have Alexa or the Google Assistant in your home. You're in luck because it's fully integrated with both. Find out more or order by going to fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. That's 816-945-2232. As we thank Robyn Lindars again for joining me last segment. Once again, if you want to check out the new calculator coming from Robyn over at grillgirl.com, follow her socially or make sure you're checking out her website. It's launching this week. She said she could launch it already today, but she hasn't. Tweaking a little bit here and there. And then by Friday. So we have a 72-hour window right now before it's all out there. We're racing to the second hour. Stick around. We'll be right back. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Hang on.
Hi, this is Sylvie Curry from Ramona, California, and I'm listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
Boing.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 2 feet for wieners.
Oh, listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
Welcome to the second hour, everybody. Here we go. It's the Barbecue Central Show. We talk about barbecue and grilling stuff right here every Tuesday night, live from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern. We're recording at the same time, so if you're listening to the show anytime other than Tuesday between 9 and 11, you're getting it on podcast. You're welcome. You can call into the show, 216-220-0966. Do you know how many people call into the show? Roughly 0.
How dare you?
I have this number for you, and nobody will ever call. How dare you?
How dare you?
Right. Still to come on this show this evening, Andrew Koster from Dansons. That's right. They make Pit Boss. They make Louisiana Grills. They make country smokers. That one's really piqued my interest. I love when I have no idea about anything. This company makes a bunch of different cookers. And here's one that I'd never heard of. I thought I heard of all of them, most of them, at least on the cutting edge or in the knowledge or the realm of pellet cookers. But I hadn't heard of country smokers yet. We'll talk to them about all that stuff. It's going to be great. And then depending on where we go, may or may not have 1035, or it will be open, or we will carry Andrew over. We'll just see how it's going. Some of you asking in the YouTube chat about Weber Smoke Fire stuff. I'm not going to be saying anything about Weber Smoke Fire at the moment. It's new. It's developing. Social media has an allowance for everybody to get on and say whatever they want to say. And I'm not going to get into that at the moment. We'll wait a week and see how things pan out for the next 7 days. We might be able to snag Kevin Coleman from Weber next week as well. That would have to happen in the 9:35 segment because the fourth Tuesday, of course, is the embedded correspondence segment. And that will take up the balance of the second hour. So we'll see what happens maybe towards the 1st of March or what have you. But I'm not going to get into the Weber Fire scuttlebutt, mostly because I don't have a Weber Smoke Fire at the moment. So my interest level is somewhere here instead of somewhere here, like a lot of the folks that have one and are saying, I have this experience or that experience. Don't forget, you can follow me socially at BBQ Central Show on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok /BBQ Central Show on Facebook. Coming up on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less this Friday is episode 112. We're actually taking you back to January 19th, 2010. Wow. The pitmaster of Team Holla and Swalla joined me. His name is Alan Hedrick. And they were casually on an episode of Barbecue Pitmasters. It wasn't based around them. Now, this would have been the season, as we say, is the Pitmasters that was the, or what ended up being the gold standard of barbecue pitmasters, where they followed around Harry Sue, and Gary Notley was Harry Sue's pit bitch, and Tuffy Stone, Myron Mixon, Johnny Trigg. There was some young guy. What was his? Paul? Was his name Paul? He was a chef, but he was going onto the circuit and trying to find his footing in competition barbecue. And Johnny Trigg and him became best pallies, besties for the resties by the end of that season, so on. But Alan was stationed next to Myron's American Royal setup that year. And so when they were filming the TV show, you saw Myron like take Alan Hedrick and team under wing and show what a good guy he is, blah, blah, blah. So it was a pretty neat conversation. And we talked about some other things as well, aside from getting to hang out with Myron and being on the television. They had really cool T-shirts. I don't think I have mine anymore. It might have made its way to the skilled nursing home facilities donation tank. Because if you send me a T-shirt, I wear it and wear it and wear it, and eventually it wears out. Or I get an onslaught of T-shirts, and the ones that I had stopped wearing just go into the donation pile. But that was a really cool T-shirt, and I wore the hell out of that T-shirt for any number of years. But again, very interesting conversation, and great team name, great T-shirt, as I just mentioned. So you have to subscribe to the podcast in order to listen to that. And again, that is going all the way back to January 19th, 2010. Holla and Swalla, Alan Hedrick. By the way, I totally forgot to give me props, but this past February 7th of 2020 marked the 12th year of live Barbecue Central shows. 12 years, a dozen. Way back in 2008, a fledgling little internet radio site at the time called BBS Talk Radio started putting shows out over the internet servers, and I was one of the original weekly hosts. And if you don't know the story, I literally answered an ad on Craigslist in LA, and a guy was looking for internet hosts, and he was looking for a handful of ones that could do a daily show and then backfill those daily hosts with weekly hosts. I was one of the folks that answered the Craigslist posting, all done via the internet. And the guy that now runs the whole deal, Sam Hassan, said, "Are you sure you can talk for 50 minutes about barbecue?" And I said, "I've been doing a podcast for 2 years already. I got this under control. If you don't like what I'm doing, then you can just tell me to beat it, but give me the shot." We figured out the technology to make it happen. And again, we started in 2008 on February 7th. Now, the show originally debuted on a Thursday night, still at 9 p.m., and then a few weeks into that, I was moved to Tuesdays at 9, and that's where the show has lived forever and ever since. Now, eventually the site became LA Talk Radio. That site is still in existence today. It's doing very well. It has a plethora of shows and hosts and all of that. Barbecue Central went from 1 hour to 2 hours for a short time period that I just have no recollection of. But according to show historian and executive producer of The Best Of, John Solberg, I actually did a Tuesday night and a Wednesday night show for a period of time. That eventually got axed. We resettled back into a 2-hour show on Tuesdays. What an incredible evolution and growth we have seen over the past dozen years. And to everyone who has tuned in, whether you are a new fan, you are somebody that is stumbling over the live feed tonight on Facebook or YouTube or on tunein.com or tunein.in or whatever the hell it's called. For everyone that is tuning in right now, or you've been a fan over the past dozen years, whether you are new or old, from now or the beginning, I just appreciate the fact that you consume the show. However you do it, I'm just appreciative. And that the show continues to be the beacon of professionalism, production, sound quality, comedy, the show that pushes the envelope and the industry to new places, and quite frankly, the show that all other barbecue podcasts want to be like. And for the shows that say that they don't want to be like the Barbecue Central show, y'all be some punk-ass liars right there.
How dare you?
And don't even at me on this. Come see me at Pit Barrel Cooker at the National Barbecue Association Conference and say it with your chest.
How dare you?
I think I like that sound effect. Everybody wants to be like the Barbecue Central show, except for the fact that everybody can't be the Barbecue Central show. Do you know why? We have great guests. We have great new guests. We have great recurring guests. We have great sound production. We chase the sound chain each and every day to make sure that this sounds as professional and tight as possible. But most importantly, there is no other host out there in the barbecue landscape like me. That's just the bottom line. Nobody has the eloquence, the ability to command the English language like I do, the ferocity to cobble together sentences the likes that few have ever heard, and I can do it through the written word, and I can do it extemporaneously. That's right. And as Smokin' Joe's Pit Barbecue says in the chat, we have the best fans that are in the chat. There's no doubt about that. It's unquestionable. The Centralites are fierce, and they are here to stay. They have my back. We've proven it in any number of ways over all of the years. This is the shining beacon of the barbecue and grilling industry as it covers the happenings that are going on. I thank each and every one of you for making these past 12 years possible. And we are flowing right into year 13 with no end in sight, much to the chagrin of all of the others. Andrew Koster coming up out of the break. Before we get to him, I will talk to you about Green Mountain Grills, some of the best pellet cookers out there on the market today. In fact, I told you about it last week. Did I tell you about it last week? It showed up midweek. I got a Daniel Boone Prime Grill. That's right. Sitting in the garage right now, waiting to get put together. You know I can put it together. I'll probably do some kind of a live stream to show you. But this one is great. It's got the peek-in windows on the cooking chamber, on the pellet hopper. It's got 2 internal meat probes. It's got Wi-Fi technology. It's built on a little bit more of a robust chassis than that Choice line that they originally came out with. Also have a pizza oven insert with that. I tell you all the time, if you're going to get a Jim Bowie or a Daniel Boone, you got to get the pizza oven insert. So I will now have 2 pizza ovens running at the same time. Double it. Let's double. Double the pizza fun. Go to greenmountaingrills.com. Check out where your dealers are located across the country. They train their dealers so they can train the end user or consumer. That way everybody's happy when they get home. And they're successful right away. No returns coming back. No buyer's remorse or anything like that. They're also selling sauces and rubs and different accessories to really complete that whole Green Mountain Grills experience. You go to the website, greenmountaingrills.com. That's greenmountaingrills.com. Can't wait to get mine together. All right, we are back with Dansons, Andrew Koster, right after this. Stick around, be right back.
The only show giving you a monthly visit from a doctor of barbecue. A man actually named Meathead. The author of a barbecue Bible. Bloggers, reviewers, competitors, and manufacturers by the dozens. It's the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Smithfield. Head to smithfield.com throughout the grilling season for recipes as well as tips and tricks from world champ pitmasters like Chris Lilly, Darren Worth, Ernest Cervantes, and Childs Cridlin. With mouth-watering flavor and no artificial ingredients, Smithfield Fresh Pork is quite simply the finest pork money can buy, trusted by the choice of world championship pitmasters for use at competitions and at home alike. Smithfield.com is the place to go for that. All right, my guest in the second hour is the quality manager for Dansons. That's the company that makes things like Pit Boss and Louisiana Grills and Country Smokers, all pellet cookers. Amongst other things, Pit Boss has been coming to the market in a big way. And they recently added a new line to the mix as well. So let's go ahead and race to the hotline and welcome first-timer to the show, Alan Koster, joining me. Hey, Alan.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me, Greg. How are you?
I am absolutely fabulous, Andrew. Again, appreciate you making time here. And we are ready to rock and roll tonight. So before we maybe dive into the specifics of all the individual product lines and the Danson backstory and all that stuff. Little background about you, where you're currently stationed at, how you came in growing up, your entrance into any kind of culinary or food love, and we'll build in from there.
Perfect. Yeah. So I basically have grown up around the industry. My dad was actually someone who was one of the original employees with Traeger Pellet Grills back when it first started in Oregon. And so I've spent my entire life around pellet grills. And really after college, I wanted to, kind of follow in my dad's footsteps, and actually went to work for him at Traeger for a while and was customer service manager there for quite some time. Before leaving the company in about 2016. So I've had a lot of experience in, customer service and R&D in the pellet grill industry, as well as have kind of kicked up a little bit of the more culinary side and done some stuff on Instagram, as well as actually just released my first cookbook, Master of the Wood Pellet Grill. It's not only a cookbook, it really kind of takes more of my experience as a customer service guy, R&D guy in the pellet industry, and feeds off of that, so it gives readers a lot more information on how to use their pellet grill, not just time and temp and things like that. If your pellet grill has an issue, things like that, how can the reader actually go about learning to fix that, or just learning their grill?
Andrew, when you were working for Traeger, all the way back when, that was, I guess, being the research guy too, or quality, you see where the pellet industry is now here in 2019. I'm assuming all the way back when you were at first with Traeger, and even when your dad was working there, it was a very small percentage of market capture. It's still probably a very small market capture percentage, but there's a lot of other manufacturers, and it's a lot more prolific than it ever was. Was there ever a thought amongst the Traegers and you and your dad and all the people that were working there that, hey, man, at some point in like 30 years, this is going to be as accepted as charcoal or gas cooking? Or did it always feel like a niche that might get a little bigger, but maybe would always be, kind of, third or fourth class?
Yeah, it was always something that, the goal was to get big. Joe Traeger and the family really, really worked hard to grow things, but there was always the limitations of, it was a West Coast brand, things like that, and things that weren't really accepted within the whole barbecue community. You're using an electric motor and things like that was kind of taboo for a long time. And so when things really clicked, I don't think any of us imagined that we'd be seeing what we're seeing today, where every, big box store that's selling a grill is selling a pellet grill along with that. That was the goal, the dream, but I don't think we ever expected it to be where it is today.
So where does the relationship with Danson start? Do you just summarily leave Traeger and you're out of work for a certain amount of time, and Danson comes knocking at the door, or how does that marry up?
Yeah, so my dad and I left the company at about 2016, and we took a break from the industry for about a year. And what was going on in the meantime was my dad was kind of feeling out, getting back in, and just happened so at the same exact time, Dansons was really starting to pop with the Pit Boss brand. And so there was an explosion in pellet grills that we hadn't seen before. And so they were kind of looking for somebody to head their customer service team that brought, stability and experience. And so with that being said, my dad had been speaking with Jeff Thiessen, the president of the company, and we actually worked something out to get something started in Oregon. And we built a team there, really driving home, the customer service that's expected not only in a pellet grill, but the customer service that Dan Thiessen, Jeff Thiessen, Jordan Thiessen, the family expect their customers to get. So we drove that home in Oregon for a bit. My dad still works within that area, but myself, I've shifted over to the R&D side of things. Quality is especially where I sit, based on, I've been solving problems in the pellet grill world for a long time. Why don't we just keep me solving problems? So that's given me a really great ability to keep doing what I've done for a long time and what I love.
Is it a tricky thing for you guys to go from Traeger over to another pellet? I mean, whether it was going to be Dansons or, a Green Mountain Grill or grill. I mean, there's just a whole laundry list. Was there any trepidation that if you guys went to another pellet cooker company, regardless of who it was, that you're like looking over your shoulder, wondering if anything is going to be happening? I know your dad's kind of caught up in something here right now. I don't know what you can talk about or what you can't, but was that ever a worry, or was that just something that kind of snowballed up and was like, oh, what the fuck, or what the hell was going on here?
One of the big things for us was we wanted to be in the pellet grill industry. My dad had been in it for 30 some odd years. I've been around it since the moment I was born, really. So it was important for us to get back into it. We really treaded lightly with things that we did when we did move over. But, all being said, that it's a large industry and it's been able to give us an opportunity to get back in. And, it's a great place to be with Dansons kind of leading the way in making pellet grills accessible to, the masses. It allows us to be right on the front lines again in doing that.
All right, Andrew Kosterman joining me here on the show, quality manager over at Dansons, the website dansons.com, and you can find all of the brands here we're about to talk about. So let's start with is Pit Boss the newest of the lines of the three that we might talk about tonight?
So the Country Smokers is probably the newest line out there.
All right, well, let's start there first. So let's start with the newest. Country Smokers, I had said, out of what I pride myself on is having the finger of the pulse and knowing the names. Country Smokers is totally off my radar. So talk to me a little bit about this line and what makes it unique.
Yeah, so Country Smokers is just a big an ability to bring pellet grills again to the masses. So things that you're going to see in the Country Smokers are all the build quality that you expect in a Dansons product. So heavier steel, hotter grills, but you're going to see things like they're not going to have the flame broiler that we have in some of the grills. And things like that. The controllers are going to be similar to what you're used to with the P settings and things like that on a pellet grill. A lot less of the connectivity and things like that. But really, it's another grill that's going to be out there for everybody to purchase, both online and in person, and gives the customer a good feel for how to get into a pellet grill. And then you might find yourself taking the next step into, a fully connected grill or a grill that has the flame broiler option, giving you direct flame, those types of things.
All right. Now, the one that everybody is talking about, obviously, is the Pit Boss model or the Pit Boss line of cookers. I think that's where you had a little bit of an issue with Traeger saying, hey, some of these look a lot like the ones that we have as well. But you can't deny the fact that people are buying them. My daughter's ex-boyfriend's dad, I think, has a couple of them and just raves and raves about them. So, again, pellet convenience and a different option. What about the Pit Boss line makes it unique compared to some of the other things that are existing out there right now?
Yeah, so Pit Boss, what that line is really taking pellet grilling to the next level. If you want a grill that's, bigger, hotter, and heavier, but it's available anywhere, that's a Pit Boss line. It's going to give you, the best features that you're used to in a pellet grill, but it's also expanding on that. Really what you're seeing a lot of, like what we have going on in the Platinum Series line that you had mentioned earlier, with the KC combo and the Lockhart. We're taking pellet grilling and stepping it up a whole nother notch. And then we're making it accessible to everyone. So not only can you find a pellet grill, but we've got a pellet grill like the Lockhart that's going to have a pellet grill with a secondary cooking chamber that you can not only cold smoke in, but you can also reach temperatures upwards of 350 degrees inside there too. So we have grills like that are available not only, or that are going to be available to everybody at Walmart. And so we're taking grills to a whole nother level there. We also, like I said, in the Platinum line are offering the KC combo, which is a side-by-side unit. So we not only have a pellet grill out there, but you also have the ability to use it as a gas grill or a gas griddle as well. So we're not only giving customers the pellet grill experience, but we're giving you the full barbecue experience, and you can go right out your door just a few miles away and pick it up. So Pit Boss is really where we've taken pellet grills to the next level in not only a quality product that's going to be bigger, as I said, hotter and heavier, but it's also going to be at a better price, and it's going to be more available than any other pellet grill on the market.
Do you have an idea of where your market penetration is right now with the Pit Boss compared to the other ones?
I couldn't give you numbers off the top of my head. No, sorry.
It's not 70%?
You know, we'd love to be there. And I'd probably get in trouble for saying.
Yeah, no doubt. Dansons.com is the website if you want to check it out as we're talking about these lines. So that's a Pit Boss. Now, Louisiana Grills, certainly one that I've been familiar with. I don't want to speak out of turn here, but I would imagine this is more the high line or the Cadillac line. So a bigger entry point when it comes to price, but fit, finish, capacity, probably that direct fire that you were talking about. A lot of upper class options, features, and benefits.
Yep. Yeah. Same thing. So huge features, like you were saying on on Louisiana Grills. So Louisiana Grills was the original grill line from Dansons. And what that grill has is it has a little bit of a different burn system in there that allows the grill to get quite a bit hotter. And so what you can do with the Louisiana Grill is you can get to 600 degrees in a short amount of time. And you can also smoke at a low temp. So the Louisiana Grills is going to give you, the optimal experience. It's going to have, heavier steel and things like that you're looking for in a pellet grill. We're working on right now coming out with our Founders Series line of grills in the Louisiana Grills line. What you're going to see there is double line grill, heavy steel. Again, 600 degrees in a short amount of time. It's going to hold temps, use less pellets, things like that. As well, with the Louisiana Grills, it's going to come with a lot more stability. So you're not going to see some of the auger jams and things like that you see in other grills, because the Louisiana Grills has a better auger, not a better, but a different auger system that works that way.
What makes it different? Is that like a proprietary thing or a patented thing, or is it pretty easy?
It's just a different take on the system. That's all it is. So, there's lots of different burn systems out there, but this one has a different take on it that it just happens to be able to do a little bit of those things a little bit differently.
When are too many product lines too many?
Hey, right now I couldn't tell you because I don't think we have too many.
You're like you're the research and development, the quality guy. You're dealing with all the issues. So you have, it's not like one Pellet Boss grill. There's a varying number of grills across the Pit Boss line. Same thing, Louisiana Grills. Same thing with Country Smoker. So you're not just solving one issue or three issues through three different lines. It's multiple grills through the lines here. So you have to be pretty busy, but obviously not overwhelmed. As you said, you'd be welcoming more, but it just seems like there's a propensity or a potential of diluting the talent pool.
Mm-hmm. Well, the big thing with us at Dansons is we have some of the best talent around us in the business. So what you see is we have not only the longest tenured employees in the industry, but we have some of the best new employees as well. And so what we bring to the table is not only a lot of cardinal knowledge, where we bring a lot of that from not only, myself and my dad from the Traeger side, but also, what you're talking about with Louisiana Grills. We came from Canada, and we have a ton of people up there with a lot of cardinal knowledge. But then you're talking about a whole new group of people coming in with a lot of knowledge as well, and a lot of ideas. And so that's where you bring this into a whole nother level, is you have a lot of things that haven't been brought up yet, because it's been a lot of the same people for a long, long time. Yeah, there have been new grills opening up in new companies, but for the most part, a lot of the same people have been designing grills and things like that for a long, long time. At Dansons, we are about bringing in a lot new ideas and a lot of new technology. And so what we're going to see is a lot of different lines, but it's all with a it's all intended to bring the best customer experience to each individual customer.
When you're looking at modifying or making a new generation or just adding a new cooker to a existing line, is it the majority of feedback coming in from your current customer base, or is it the brainiacs within the idea machine over Dansons saying, hey, let's make this thing happen or that thing happen? Or is it kind of a nice mix of both?
It's a marriage of both, which is great. So there's, like I said, a lot of people within Dansons that have a lot of great ideas, but we feed off of our customers. So like somebody like me who has spent a lot of time with the pellet grill customer, I'm able to feed off that, bring that information in, and as well listen to customer service. And then also there's a lot of things that the internet had brought on. So with, owners groups and forums and things like that, we can see what people are saying and what they're asking for in a pellet grill, which gives us the ability to not only fix problems that might be having with a grill, but also can help us to understand what people might be looking for in the future iterations of a pellet grill.
Andrew Koster joining me here on the show from Dansons. You can check them out at Danson.com and see all of the pellet cooker lines that they have. From a new perspective, we'll get into some other, general pellet cooker topics here if I can hold you through the break. But are there any? So there's the new line of smokers that we were just talking about, the Platinum Series.
Yeah.
Does Walmart come to you and say, "Hey, make us grills"? I had talked with Derek Riches maybe a month or two ago, and he said, stores want a piece that will draw attention. So I mean, if you take whatever his personal feelings were on how the grills were actually operating or what he thought of them, just from an aesthetic standpoint alone, these are pieces that are going to sit on a retail floor. You're going to walk towards the fish food, and all of a sudden you're like, boom, wow, look at the size of, the KC or, the whatever the other one is with the top and the over and above or whatever. These are things that are going to draw you over to that. So are they approaching you or Danson saying, hey, build us something that attracts attention, or are you pitching a line to them and then it's saying, hey, it's exclusive, so they're going to have to come to Walmart to pull through?
It's a little both. So, they in both ways, we're always, like I said, coming up with ideas and we're sharing that, but we have great partnerships with our retail partners. And so a lot of the times they're coming to us and saying, hey, we've got this kind of idea. What can you do for us? But anytime that we're developing something, they're well within the knowledge base of what we're doing and what might be available to them in the future. And so they're feeding back to us what would be a great idea or how they'd like to see that. And so we can work with them and kind of marry the two together to make them the best possible product, to have, not only an eye-catching product on their floor, but really a great grill that's going to hold up to what their customers are expecting.
How easy is Walmart to work with? I've heard great stories. I've heard horror stories. I've heard they demand this or GTFO. What is it like?
I love it. I mean, for me, it's been a great experience. We've worked with a lot of small retailers for a long, long time in this industry. And so to be able to kind of, get up there and work with a group like Walmart, it's been great. Had a few opportunities to travel to Bentonville and things like that. Always loved going there and meeting with people. They're passionate about it. that's one thing that Walmart's really is they're really passionate about grilling and giving a great grill to their customers. And so it helps us to be able to, put out a great grill if Walmart's going to work with us and they want that kind of product.
Andrew Koster joining me here on the show from Dansons. Andrew, can I hold you over for another segment?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, stand by, and we'll get back to you, talk a little bit more about the products and all the good stuff here. So I will, in the meantime, talk to you quickly about the Barbecue Guru before we get back with Andrew. Always believing that outdoor cooking should be easy and fun, because it can be, especially with the Monolith Barbecue Guru Edition grill. So if you're looking for a ceramic cooker and you want one with a built-in power draft fan, well, that eliminates everything else except the Monolith, because the Monolith is the world's first ceramic cooker with a built-in power draft fan. Now, if you have a Guru controller already, you don't have to buy a new one to operate. You can just take your Guru, hook it right up to the fan that's already installed in the cooker, and away you go. If you want to upgrade the tech, that's certainly up to you, but you don't have to do it. Easily choose your cooking time and temperature. Let the Monolith do the work of a sous chef or a barbecue pit master, and with minimal effort, you now have oven-like precision at the grill. You can serve the tastiest, juiciest meals each and every time. And again, that's for you ceramic cooker guys. If you have a big green egg already and you want some type of pit temperature control technology, Barbecue Guru is the gang that started it all. So they have a bunch of different ones that you can choose from. If you have any questions, you can visit the website, bbqguru.com, or you can call them and ask all your questions. I encourage that. 800-288-GURU. That's 800-288-GURU. Let them know your questions. They will make sure that you're outfitted with exactly what you need to get you up and running right out of the box. They have some great accessories, too, by the way. You want to double the rib capacity in your ceramic cooker? Get the rib ring. You can cook 6 full slabs of St. Louis ribs with the rib ring instead of 3. It's great. Again, the website, bbqguru.com, or call them at 800-288-GURU. Longest-running sponsor of the show, and we appreciate them. Bob Trudnak, by the way, will be joining us, I think, in mid-March with big announcement. He's always got a big announcement. We're back with Andrew Koster from Dansons right after this. Stick around.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
And this portion of the show being brought to you by Pit Barrel Cooker, the most unbelievable outdoor cooking device on the planet. Cooking are currently available in 2 sizes with a host of accessories. Whether you're the beginner or the professional, it's a cooker you definitely want to add to your arsenal. Visit pitbarrelcooker.com and tell them the Barbecue Central Show sent you. As Robyn mentioned, celebrating 10 years. If you're going to be at NBBQA, I'll be there. They'll be there. Say hi. Say happy birthday. 10 years. How about that? All right, we are back with Andrew Koster from Dansons. Thanks for hanging with me through the break there. What's your favorite non-pellet cooker?
So we actually do Kamados. So I used one of our Louisiana Grill K24s for a while. It was a learning experience for me. I'm the opposite of what most people are. So I came from pellet grilling. So for me, it's like, hey, let's try out this new charcoal thing. So it was a learning experience. And so, I've learned a lot of not only how to use a charcoal grill, how great it can taste, but also how much I love pellet grills.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think the efficiency and the ability that I hated pellet cookers. This is many, many years ago. I now have like 4 or 5 on my deck at this point. But for a long time, I was like, I don't understand why somebody would want to get one of these pieces of cooking equipment. You have to have electricity. What are you going to do when it rains? I'm in Cleveland, so it snows 8 months out of the year on top of that, and it's freezing cold, and maybe everything's going to freeze. And why would you just do it? Why not learn fire management? And then somehow I got one, and I think it was the brand Grilla, when they were just coming out many, many, many years ago. The engineer got in touch with me. He said, hey, can we just send you one? mess around with it. You don't have to talk about it or anything, but call me once a month. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like and what you think we could do better, blah, blah, blah. So that's how it, and I'm telling you, after the first cook, I was like, this is the best thing ever. And slowly, well, quickly, my whole tune on pellet cooker changes to the point where, you know, as I said, I have 3 or 4. So is that the singular pinnacle moment that people are coming to when they call you and say, hey, here's what I love about it? It's just this whole new availability to get really good flavor, but you also have a lot of ease and non-consternation about having to learn fire management like you would with throwing sticks or charcoal.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of it. And you know, pellet grills are the most versatile grills out there. So you can do so much more than you can with a conventional grill. And so that's a huge, huge part of it. But you know, a lot of it too is just the ease of being able to go out and flip a switch and get going. But you know, the wood-fired flavor that's coming from that pellet smoke, those kind of things, you can't just deny that. And so we're seeing a huge, huge boom. But also, you know, things that we have at Dansons, like the flame broiler, it allows you to get a sear and things like that that you never used to be able to out of a pellet grill. So we're starting to see that shift from where people even a few years ago would have that pellet grill on their porch, but also have, you know, a kettle on their porch or a gas grill on their porch. It's becoming much, much less much more common for you to just have a pellet grill on your porch because, you know, why do you need to take up that space when the pellet grill can do it all?
Oh dear. We're going to have a point of contention on that. I'll come back to that. But let me ask you about manufacturing. So there's, you know, a very, very, very small, maybe a couple that are American made. And I think that's pretty much part for part. Then there's other companies that are American assembled, but they're getting a lot of stuff from overseas. And then most of the companies are doing it offshore and they're, you know, bringing it in, then putting it their own quality control processes or whatever. So, I mean, I assume Danson's doing a lot of overseas stuff like the majority of folks. So the question is this. I have heard from many manufacturers that you have every ability as a manufacturer that's going to be doing business over there, that if you're choosing the right manufacturer and you're staying on their ass and you're visiting constantly and you as the as the customer are setting the proper expectations for that manufacturer, that the quality you can get is absolutely fabulous. Where you lose control is if you start to slack off or you don't do your check-ins or you're not doing your visiting. As soon as they figure out they can get away with something, they'll start getting away with it, and then you got to like chase them back in line. What's your experience in dealing with that, and how are you making sure that you're getting the best products in the customer's hands?
So, you know, the nice thing is with the manufacturing to that level is we can make this grill accessible to all. But you do see some of those complications, as you mentioned. With myself, you know, I look at it a lot less of, you know, going over and checking things in China or that type of thing. It's to make sure that the pellet grill stays to what it's supposed to do. So, you know, that's constant testing, constant R&D. So we're using a lot of the grills all the time. You know, I myself am testing grills constantly. There's many people within Dansons that are testing, checking these grills out. And so, you know, it's our responsibility as the, you know, the company who's selling these grills to our customers to ensure that they're getting the best possible product out there. So I've seen it go a lot of different ways, but the best thing is as a company to take ownership of your own product. And as long as you do that, you know, your manufacturers are going to have a lot of pride in what they're doing. They keep working well with us, and you see a good quality product come out because they understand what the expectation is. And, you know, a lot of the things that we don't understand is they're not using a pellet grill quite as often as we are over there. And so, you know, we need to make sure that we let them know what the expectation is, type of thing. And so a lot of them, when they get the chance to run a pellet grill or those types of things, they then understand what a customer here is looking for. And so not only we don't have to per se look after it so much, it looks after itself because they take pride in what they're doing, just like we do here too. So they make sure that they're bringing over the best possible product. We do our due diligence and check that out, and we frequently test. I mean, I'm grilling every day, not only for fun, but at the office, we're running grills. We're running grills, all over the country, all over North America to make sure they're running to their best possible, outcome.
Andrew Koster joining me here on the show from Dansons, talking about the Pit Boss line, Louisiana Grills line, Country Smokers line. Is Dansons putting all sorts of patents and what's the hot button term of is it, I want to say PC, but that's not it, like the mental property, or whatever it's called.
I hear it.
Yeah. So do you throw a lot of patents and stuff on that? Because I've heard that if you have a really good manufacturing partner over there, not only are they making your grills, but they might be making company X and company Y grills as well, because they are known for quality. So the way to protect yourself is to have that protection on your intellectual property.
We have a lot of that, as any other company does in this industry, but a lot of it is we have good partnerships with our manufacturers. We have a team over in China that works directly for Dansons, and they work directly with the factories, and so we keep those good relationships going, and so we don't have to worry about those types of things so much. For us too, of course, we have to do those types of things just like anyone else. There wasn't so many manufacturers in pellet grills for such a long time because of a patent. And so, we do look into those things and we protect ourselves as needed. But for the most part, when we have a good relationship with our manufacturers, we, take good care of them, and we have good constant communication with them, we don't have to worry about those things as much.
All right, so from an end user or a retail buyer's expectation, if you're going in and you're spending, $500 or $600 on a Pit Boss versus something that might be double the cost or more, depending on what you also might be looking at. I mean, what's the end user's, or what should the end user's expectation be? That you're gonna save some money buying this line, and you're gonna get X life out of it, and that you shouldn't be expecting such tight tolerances, or what is the proper expectation that the retail or that the end user should be having buying something like this?
That's a good question. So you're not really sacrificing anything by going cheaper. One of the great things with some of what we're doing is with huge amounts of distribution, we can pass that on to the customer. And so that makes grills more accessible. But that's not to take things away from the high end as well. So a lot of the times with high end grills, you're going to be seeing, double lining or thicker steel, a different type of construction, higher temperatures. What you're seeing in the difference between, say, like our Louisiana Grills line and the Pit Boss Grills line is you're going to see a little thinner steel. It's still thicker steel than most our competition anyways. And then you're also going to see a little bit lower temperatures. And then really from there, we're looking at connectivity and those types of things. So Pit Boss has that great value. And you can see a lot of those other things at that top end that you're looking for, like with Louisiana Grills.
Let's talk about the tech on grills. I don't understand why you people, and I'm talking about the grill manufacturer, I feel like somehow the American consumer has pushed on the manufacturer that there is a need for an incredible amount of tech. I mean, look, these grills already need power. They're already driving an auger. There's parts that are moving that are mechanical. At some point, they'll break down, blah, blah, blah. Why on earth are you going to start introducing other shit on this grill that I am absolutely convinced, and by the way, I have no empirical data to back up this statement.
How dare you?
However, I think people say, I want Wi-Fi technology. I want an app. I want to be able to control my... But maybe 2 out of 40 actually use it, and then it just sits there on the grill and nobody's fucking with it. Do you believe that?
I'm one that uses it.
Really?
I'm a nerd though, so I'm really weird like that. I get all obsessed about Android technology and things like that. But one thing that you are seeing a lot of is people are really taking care of how they barbecue. They're using those probe thermometers and things like that a lot more. So not only can you just actually take care of your meat, but you can take care of more important things. You can go and take care of your family. You can go for that golf game and things like that. That's where a lot of that comes in. And so, myself, I'm not the guy who's going out there and cooking a steak and using a Wi-Fi thermometer. I mean, to me, it just doesn't add up. But, if I'm going to do a brisket on Friday night and my plan is to go golfing Saturday morning, I feel really confident that I can use that pellet grill and use the technology to keep track of things, but also I'm doing what I want to. I can go to the kids' soccer games. I can go and, like I said, golf, but I can have at the touch of my fingertips what's going on with my grill.
Is that a discussion, though, that the folks are having at top levels of Dansons when they're talking about things to have on grills? Do they demand that tech is installed?
It's all about the customer. So we try to feel out where we think it's valuable and where it's not. And so, like I've said, I'm a big nerd about this thing, but my dad's someone who's been in the industry for a long, long time. He doesn't use that stuff as much. And so there's two different types of customers when it comes to those types of technologies. The big thing is, though, it's great to make that accessible to most of your customer base, because if they want to use it when they have that big brisket cook that they're doing for, their daughter's graduation or something like that, they want to have it available to them.
The other thing that I want to bend around a little bit is, and you had mentioned it, you're finding a pit boss supplementing out all the rest or usurping all the rest of the cookers on there. I've been a long time believer, mostly because I don't have to pay for a lot of my grills, that you should have a lot of grills or as many as you can afford, or that your wife or significant other will allow you to have on a deck or patio. Because one isn't made to do everything. I like a pellet cooker because there is the ability to unchain and do golf or grocery shop or go to volleyball matches or whatever the case may be. And as long as it's full of pellets, and the thing is going to perform well, you feel at ease to go and do whatever it is you need to do. If I have the time during the day, I have a great access to split wood, and I'll fire up my Lang and I'll throw sticks all day. And to me, that's the best flavor that I'm going to get, regardless of whatever cooker and or fuel source that I'm going to be using. But I also like charcoal-driven cookers as well. So it's a long way to go to say, I never tell folks, don't get one cooker in hopes that it is going to solve everything. It can do good things maybe 80% of the way through, but there could be 10 or 15 or 20% that it might lack in. And typically where you find the pellet cookers run really good between 180 up to 375, maybe 400. But when you start getting over that, that's where I feel they start to fall off in great performance. That's why I have a gas grill. That's why I have a charcoal grill. But I am to believe that you guys are under the impression that one can do everything and do it well.
I'm going to say one can do everything and do it well, but that's what's awesome about Pit Boss, and in particular that Platinum Series line that we had mentioned. With the KC combo, not only do you have the ability to use a pellet grill, but you have a gas grill and griddle combo on the other side. So, there's a lot of people that share that same perspective as you. And, I totally understand that. I've been talking to tons and tons of pellet grill customers over the phone or on the phone for years. And so Pit Boss, we've taken another step to make that accessible to our customers. But you know what? It's in one grill package. And so you can do 10, 12 different types of cooks all in one grill. And so, yeah, it is a combo grill, so it is a little bit different, but it gives you the whole package all in one.
This has been a great conversation. We're talking with Andrew Koster from Dansons, quality manager. You can find and look at Pit Boss Grills, Louisiana Grills, and the Country Smokers. There looks to be like there might be some kind of outdoor brand that Danson does as well. I mean, it's a whole big thing. That's absolutely fabulous. And Andrew, I appreciate the insight, history lesson and the candor here as we talk about Dansons product. Let's do it again soon. Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks a lot.
You got it. There he is. The quality manager for Dansons, and that's Pit Boss, Louisiana Grills, and Country Smokers. Great conversation right there. Appreciate that. What? I don't know. Now, just hold on a minute. Mediocre. Yes. Where's the read? There we go. No. Oh, jeez. I mean, you just blow it all up in the end, right? That's right. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, that's the one. I appreciate the fact that Andrew, is sticking with Dansons can provide grills that can do everything. I'm going to sit here and tell you that's wrong. Unless you're going mega high. Now, as he said, the KC combo, that's different. But I'm talking about the straight-up pellet cooker. I don't think there's anything wrong with having 3 different cookers this day and age. A gas grill, a charcoal grill or charcoal-driven smoker, and a pellet cooker. Or some combination. Some kind of pellet cooker, a gas or a charcoal grill, and then some other kind. Have 3. I mean, this is the age of 3. 2020 is the age of 3 different cookers. That's what I'm talking about. All right, we are back to wrap it up. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Craig Rimpey.
Hey, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by The Smoke Sheet, a free weekly newsletter that keeps you in the know on everything happening in the barbecue world, including top news, events, recipes, and more. Started by Ryan Cooper, a.k.a. Barbecue Tourist, and Sean Ludwig, a.k.a. NYC BBQ. Both of them traveling around the country to find the best barbecue and then reporting on it. Sign up for the newsletter and see their full events on the barbecue calendar at bbqnewsletter.com, a great all-in-one resource covering the live fire industry. That's bbqnewsletter.com. Thanks again to... You know what? I'm not even going to bother with it. I'm just going to get out. Thanks again to Andrew Koster for joining me the past 2 segments. All the way back in the first hour, Stephen Raichlen was in. He's got a new book called Grilling Green. We talked about Canadian bacon and how you can make that at home and why it's delicious. Barbecue University in June is sold out, but if you get on a wait list and that exceeds a certain threshold, they will add a fall class. Dennis Busso will be attending his 4th Barbecue University and should be getting a bachelor's degree. That's a 4-year commitment. Good job, Dennis. We also talked with Robyn Lindars, grillgirl.com. Be on the lookout for her new calculator. That is a web-based calculator or a site-based calculator, not an app. So make sure you're paying attention there. And then the second hour, we chatted up Andrew Koster from Dansons. Danson.com is the website. That's the Pit Boss, Louisiana Grill, and Country Smoker line of pellet cookers. Bunch of different price variables as we had talked about. And let me sit there and spit the tough questions. How about that? 4th Tuesday of the month is coming up next week. Derek Riches is in. Potentially, Kevin Coleman is in. Embedded correspondents are in. Crazy town. Is that enough? Of course it is. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.
Jennifer Palamas from Charlotte, North Carolina, and this is Barbecue Central.